want him encouraging other things to come on your
Yeah,
deck.
yeah. Or I don't
Yeah.
want that's true too. And I also don't want more Rodneys showing up. One's enough.
Yeah.
But I still get those little caterpillars that I just slaughter every day. I don't even give them a second anymore. I used to start from the head and make it quick, but now I have to start doing examples. So I start at the back end, make them really feel the pain. Then I start working up the back. No. I get these little caterpillars that are like yay long, and because of the rain, they come up more. Like I was walking to my gym the other day, and there had to be hundreds of them on the sidewalk. Hundreds of them.
A lot of them?
Oh yeah. We've had some nasty weather the last couple of days. We're supposed to have rain all this week.
Yeah, we do too. It's been very gray and rainy today, like 63 and blah. But yeah, Grandma's birthday's a washout.
Oh, is it? I called her before. She still hasn't called me back. I said happy birthday, but it's fine.
Well, we went to church at 5:30.
Okay.
Came in, ate, and I quote, leftover food on my birthday. So Mom, I took you out to lunch.
Yeah,
I
really.
knew it was going to happen. All week she's been saying, I don't want anything for my birthday. Nothing for I don't want a party. I don't want anything. And we were at the dollar store. I said, oh, let me get your 9-in-1 balloon. Don't you dare. The whole 9 yards.
No balloon.
Trust me. I knew I was going to take her out to lunch or do something. And I decorated the kitchen for her.
I'm gonna cut that part out so it just makes you seem like a terrible daughter. Mom, can you lower your camera just a little bit because we're seeing more of the ceiling than you. Yeah, much better. What was I saying? Oh, your microphone's also backwards.
Backwards.
Right, light in front of you.
Yep, light in front.
Yeah, much better.
Anyhow, she's fine, but yeah. So Mom, we're having all the leftover Chinese from yesterday. She and I had Chinese, and it was a lot of it. And I didn't even order a lot, but so we had that. She was fine, and literally watching the parade. And
oh,
she
you were?
Yeah, got up. She went into the family.
Was she
room.
screaming "No kings"? Is that what Grandma was doing with the rest of her
No, she just concerned about the
demographic?
people that were shot. I hope they find the guy that shot the senator and his wife.
Oh well, we'll get into that. That was my articles today.
Oh yeah, I don't know a lot about it. She told me about it.
Quite the unfolding of events in 24 hours. Still can't figure out who the Trump shooter was, but right. Let me tell you, chicken cutlets came out well. Good. Today. I did it.
Came out good.
2.5. I think I can do a video on it. So here's what I did, Ma. Ready? Chicken burrito in my spinach burrito, mayo, cheese, delicious.
Good.
So that was the highlight of my day, as you can tell.
You know what? I think you're right. I think it's well. I think I'm wrong. They came out well.
Yeah, because if I said if it came out good, that's a. I feel like you would have hit me like 5 years ago if I said that.
No, like one's an adverb and one's an adjective. Good is an adjective.
See, all the viewers just fell asleep. Once you said adverb and adjective, everyone went to bed.
Yeah, I know.
What else did you do?
Communication. It's the cornerstone of humanity. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it true?
Go ahead. Go to sleep, all of you. Go ahead. Talk like cave people. Go ahead.
We went to dinner last night for our friend's birthday. I don't know if Grandma told you. Restaurant, what a waste. Listen, Carmen, if you're watching, not a bad restaurant, but for how much it was, very little food. Very sad. I got an appetizer of fries for the table, right? For like me and my side of the table. There's a lot of people there. And it was like imagine sharing like a Burger King amount of fries, like a large fry amongst 4 people. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
It was probably was it an appetizer for one, or was it meant to be for multiple people?
I don't know. They didn't really clarify anything on the menu. Oh. And so it was expensive for very little, and I don't like that. I would have pitched
Was it at least good? Was it tasty?
It was okay. They had a sauce that was really good. It was mayo, and it was either I think it was ranch and horseradish, which was very good. I was surprised. And then that was the night. And then we went to a club afterward. We went to a bar afterwards, and then we went to a club. This was right by the ocean, right? Worst experience of my
down.
Yeah, we were in Moore's Head, right?
Okay,
Moore's Head. So where Big Rock is, we walked past Big Rock. Michael Jordan, if you're watching, I walked by you. We went to this club, and let me tell you something about like being by the shore. I don't know how people do it, because we go into this club, Mom. It was so hot in here, and this is outdoors. It's an outdoor club. It was so hot because of the rain, humid, everyone's sweating. And we're right by the sea during Big Rock, so it just smelled like fish the whole time. I was like, this is disgusting. How are there this many people here? So it wasn't the worst experience, but it wasn't the best experience either. So I was tired too. I had a lot to do. So we got home pretty early. We got home before 12.
It was Friday night. Was it busy for Friday?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And plus it was busier for that Big Rock competition. So that's the...
Oh, I don't know what that is then. I thought that was a place.
Oh, no. Big Rock is like this big fishing festival that they have down here.
Oh,
where,
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Like Michael Jordan has his own boat here. It's like $250,000 just to get in for the week. So everyone catches fish throughout the day. And then it's like the UFC. They do weigh-ins for the fish. So people show up just to see the weigh-ins. It's kind of fun. Yeah, it's funny. So they've had a couple like 800-pound fish already. They've had a lot. So it's a pretty big deal down here. And that's why the bars were all like the demographic was 20 to 80. It was that, like you could tell the people that were there to get a drink with their buddies at the old bar. Right. And then you have the 20-year-old. Like you could tell they did not want us there. Right? Yeah. The 20-year-old.
Why are all these young people here filling it up and sweating? We don't need them here.
Yeah, it was fun though. Welcome. It was fun.
Good.
Justin was having the time of his life because Justin never really gets to go out with us, so that was fun. And then
whose birthday was it? Carmen's.
Carmen's, yeah, our friend Carmen's. Nice. So, yeah, and then we're doing a wine night on Tuesday or whatever because it was her friends from down there and then us. So the Newburn crowd. Met more new people? Yeah, we met more of her older friends, and then we're gonna do something here on Tuesday because her actual birthday is Monday. So we're like,
okay.
So, yeah.
Good.
That was pretty much my week. Nice. What else did I do this week? Nothing too special. It's just been so rainy. There's been nothing to do. Just editing and all that, the usual. So, yeah.
Get muggy down there?
Oh, so muggy. I was saying to Jordan yesterday, I was like, Mom, I said to Jordan, I was like, remember in New York, like when you see rain, you associate it with cold? Here, it's rain. Cooler. Yeah, cooler. Yeah. Here, it's the opposite. It rains and it gets hotter because of how humid it is. So it's even more disgusting to go outside. And I'm like, ugh.
Well, so our friends keep pushing us to move to their area in Williamsburg and Virginia, and I like Virginia,
the Gretas,
but I don't. It's buggy and it's muggy. It's like very humid by the ocean, and it's a beautiful area, but I just as bad as me. I don't like the heat at all, let alone bugs, which I can't stand. And I don't need to be near the water. I'd rather be out west where you're still gonna it'll be warm, but it's a different kind of warm. It's not humid. It's not ocean muggy and yucky.
Yeah. Damn, what was I about to say?
And the bugs. The bugs are a big deal.
Yeah, the bugs suck. Weather's just been trash here.
I think the people of Roanoke, they just left because they couldn't take the heat and the bugs.
Probably true. Probably true. Man, I forget what I was going to say. North. Damn it.
They joined the Inuits.
Yeah, as I said, my week was pretty boring, so nothing much happened.
Yeah.
So I guess we could get right into it. So I think the big one I want to start with today is probably, I want to talk about the protests because we're at the point where now all the influencers are getting involved. So that's how you know when influencers are getting involved, that's how you know the media's really portrayed this kind of wrong. So it started in LA, obviously. Yeah. And then it's kind of moved out to some in Miami, some in Philadelphia, Chicago, all the liberal cities, whatever.
Newark. We're having trouble here in Newark.
Newark, yeah. So the problem is there's a couple things. Got to be careful how we take this one because I know this is where the mob comes out. I think I see a lot of influencers putting their 2 thoughts into it or their 2 cents into it. And someone brought up a good point. They said, it's so disgusting how you use your platform to say, why are you influencers not talking about it? Like other influencers not talking about it when they haven't done anything. Like they're not putting a GoFundMe for anything. They're just giving their opinion and saying, why are you not giving your opinion? And they're not even political podcasts or anything. They're just like TikTokers. So it's very strange once you start seeing the TikTok ripple or the Instagram ripple of most people don't even know what's going on. Most people don't realize that Obama has done almost 6 times more immigration deportations than Trump has. Like Clinton did more too. So it's very funny how you're watching media how much of media has affected society. Like how many
Yes.
people don't know the true story. Now, I'm not saying so. I guess the real like I'm trying to kind of dance around the topic a little bit because I don't know how to ask the question without like the backlash, if you will. But I think that people are upset with how they're handling it in the sense of, yes, they're illegal, but they're handcuffing kids. They're ripping them out of churches. I haven't seen any video evidence of this yet. I've only heard it. And I've looked everywhere for any kids being detained, and I have not seen it. So I'm still waiting for someone to show me a video, and I truly do want someone to send me a video of kids being put in handcuffs and in cop cars or ICE cars. So I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I think the burning in cars and stuff in LA are real, but then I have people that show me videos of LA and there's nothing really going on except for some people in the streets.
No, it's specifically in certain areas that this has been going on with the fires and the flags and burning cars and burning flags. And they had the routes marked off where it was I'll say no go zone because it was dangerous. Not you're not allowed there because you'll get injured, but it was too dangerous with what was going on. And it really started because they detained agents in a building. They were doing a raid on a workplace, and they detained these agents. They basically held them captive inside this building. That's a no-no. Those are federal agents. You can't do that. That's a form of kidnapping.
Right. You're stopping military or someone from doing their job. Like
Right,
that to me
agents.
that is a terroristic act if you're going to.
Right, and you got to put yourself in the place of these agents, right? They're doing a job, whether you agree with it or not, or any person. Now you're trapped in a building. You don't know how many people are outside. You don't know what's going on outside. You don't know what's going, and it's just you and your other fellow officers at the time. They had no idea, what was this, how serious this is going to be, and I'm sure they didn't realize it was going to escalate to the level that it did out there. But I will back it up, and I will say I'm learning a lot about these riots. Not because, we sat back and we said, all right, they're trying to start another summer of love, which we talked about in the last podcast.
Yeah.
What we've learned this past week, or what I've learned, is this is another BS propaganda crapola thing. You have 20 million illegal individuals in this country, and somebody threw out a number like 10 million of them are in LA. So that is ground zero for where ICE is going to be, because, it's a proportion thing. It's a number thing. You got to find the most of them in there. Most of them are working. Now we're finding, if you noticed, all of a sudden they're flying Mexican flags. And we're learning that there's all these groups that are funding this who are part of an ideology that says we're taking the land back from Mexico. The U.S. had no right to be there. It's not part of U.S. Then I've got the Mexican president. She's sticking
I
her 2
know.
cents in.
How is that not a threat
on
to
the rioters.
Yeah, how is that not a threat to American democracy?
It
Like
absolutely
that
is.
to me is like grounds for war.
We've gone through this before because the last administration we had, the president, what was his name? Oh my God, whatever his name was, egging on the people in the United States, the Mexicans in America, to give our country a hard time and to secede, right? So here's where we're at. We have organizations being funded that are trying to push this narrative that this is not American land. It was taken from us, and we're taking it
stupid.
back. Okay? All of a sudden, they realized the optics of this are not very good, and then they started passing out American flags, so they would get rid of the Mexican flags. And the American flags, they start burning. Also not good optics,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they're shooting themselves in the foot no matter how you look at it. But, Molly, this was a question that I had because I think this is the biggest knock on the being knocked to be pro-protest. So the big one is a lot of these people that are getting deported are people that are showing up for their court hearings, but are still being detained and deported. So I guess I don't understand how it works, but I was just looking up what the statistics are. So the question was, how many illegal immigrants or people immigrating to the United States actually show up for their court date? And it's actually a pretty high percentage. It's about 83%. So why is it like why they talk about these people that have been trying to get in for 17? Okay, go ahead.
Hold on. Before you throw out that number, I want to know the years those people came in, because we learned from the Biden administration, part of the issue was he was changing all the rules. And people were getting their court dates 5, 6, 7 years from the date they were handled it. And then they were released in our country, going to Chicago, New York, whatever. That's absurd. 5 years from now, come back for your hearing. They're never coming back. Those are the people that it was getting out of control, because I'll take your number at face value. 83% showed up, maybe. Those were
Here, let me
probably
read it
immigrants.
real fast then. So it says data from the fiscal year 2008 to June 2019 shows that 83% of all immigrants in removal proceedings appeared in court.
Right. Like I said, we've had 10 million extra people. No, 20 million come in under the Biden regime.
Right.
Okay. That number is I take that back. I think it was around that number. I can't give you the exact number because it keeps changing. Some people will say 10 million. Others will say it's closer to 20 million. Some will say it's a total 20 million. Whatever. We've had a huge surge at our border every day, thousands and thousands coming in. They were giving court dates 5 to 7 years from now.
So
Meaning
is that
they haven't shown up.
is that the kind of fundamental problem with our system of they come in, they get a court date, that court date is 7 years later, and that's just because of how many people are immigrating here? Is that the initial issue as to why?
Because they were flooding the border.
Right.
So now they want, and this is absolutely, and we know now the Biden administration were breaking all the rules or allowing the rules to be broken, bending the rules of what was at that border. We have ports of entry. When you come through, they can stagger those people, give them court dates. There's no reason why they couldn't come within a week or two. But when you flood the country with these individuals, we don't have enough judges to process it, right? We don't, and it's on purpose.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
flood them, and you can't, to follow the process that we have. It's like, well, I can't see enough people. I start giving them dates a year out, 2 years, 5, 10 years out, right? It's flooding the system. So are you breaking the rules? No. In some cases, he changed the rules. He bent the rules. But on top of it, just the sheer volume of people to process them, it was becoming a joke. Here's your paper. And remember, we're processing people who threw their IDs before they came over the border. We don't know who they are. They tossed whatever papers they had, if they even had papers, because now we don't know if they're illegal. We don't know, or criminals. We don't know their background. And they weren't all coming from the first country next to us. Some were passing through these countries from Somalia, from other parts of the world coming in. Okay? So what's the point of a court date? Okay, bring them in. My name is Joe Blow, and I'm from Tibet. Yeah, sure. Prove it. Oh, I got no papers.
Right.
Right?
So what do you so what do you do with what should you do without going too without getting in trouble? Is that like just send them back if they don't have their papers sort of deal? Is that what you should do?
What the administration is currently doing, it's a multi-pronged thing. If you're a criminal, that's who they're going after first. And today the president, for whatever reason, said he's suspending agricultural workers and a couple other transportation workers and whatnot. He says we're going after the criminals first. Okay. So that's the first push of people. And all these stories you're hearing, oh, it was a pregnant woman they went after. That was the story this week. No, they were not after her. They were after her boyfriend, who has been charged with drug trafficking, human trafficking, and we want him out of our country. Okay?
Right.
But they all made it sound like they were going after the poor pregnant woman who's illegal. I don't even think they processed her at all. Anyhow,
Right.
Those are the stories you're hearing. The answer is exactly what they're doing. They took that anti-American app that the Biden administration put in so you can come over. Just go on your phone. Book your plane ride. We'll give you
Right.
$1,000 and we'll dump you off in the middle of Chicago. And we'll give you, Medicare, health insurance. Sound familiar? We'll give you that free. School, some cases a phone, car, no job. You don't have to work. We'll give you a check, right?
Right.
Okay. The secretary turned it around and she said, if you are here illegally, if you self-deport using the app and get out of the country, I think in some cases Trump was saying we'll give you $1,000 to get you out of the country. Then you can come back in the future and reapply.
Right.
If you don't self-deport and we take you out, you're never coming back to this country.
Gotcha. Well, we'll get to that in a sec, though. The actual you're talking about the Minnesota lady.
No. I'm talking What do you mean? The pregnant lady? What are you talking
No,
about?
what's the senator that just got shot? You're not talking about her, right?
No, we were talking about the border.
Oh, well, who are you
We
just
just said
talking
the
about?
border.
Yeah, but who are you just talking about for healthcare and stuff?
I said, you asked, what do we do about the situation with people coming here illegally who have future court dates, right? That's what we were
Right.
talking about, the illegals. And my answer was, we use the same app that the Biden administration set up for them to come here and get free plane ticket, free health care,
Right.
free everything. We put them in New York and in Chicago, and they put them up in the hotels, right? This administration said, we're taking that same app, and now we're going to let you go on and self-deport. Okay?
Oh,
So you
okay.
go on the app, you get information to get yourself out of this country if you are an illegal. Well, why do I want to do that as an illegal? For the primary reason. If you don't do it, eventually we're going to get done with the criminal aliens, and then we're going to go after you and kick you out. And if that happens, you're never coming back. So in other words, your name and face is going to be at the Border Patrol, and they're going to say, nope, you're not coming into America. Goodbye.
Right. I think one of the things that I'm enjoying watching right now is this whole concept of this is Trump's fault, these protests are because of Trump or blah, blah, blah. And then now all these videos are popping up of Senate and Congress questioning a lot of these mayors on how much money they put into their immigration process, how much money that they've basically just put to waste. Mayor Wu, that idiot, she can't even answer a question. And the Chicago mayor couldn't answer a question. And then you look at how much money that the ones that do know, New York, $6.9 billion in immigration.
You're talking the governors, right? Governor Hochul, Governor.
Oh,
Pritzker,
yes. The
Governor
governors.
Yeah,
I think I said senator. Did I say senators? I think I said
No,
senators. But
you said the mayors.
mayors. No. They questioned the mayors.
Okay.
Yeah, they questioned
I
the
saw one with
mayors.
Governors.
Which one's the black guy, Donalds? He's a senator, right?
Byron.
Byron Donalds? Brian Donalds. The black guy.
Yeah. He's a senator, I believe. Congressman or senator. He's not a mayor. The mayor of Chicago, you're right. He happens to be a black man, but I can't think of his name. He's just spouting off anything, any sort of line he could get any sort of press out of. He's just throwing everything out, whatever he can. The most crazy thing. Everyone's going to die because of Donald Trump. Like they're
Who said
grasping. That's the mayor of Chicago.
Yeah, that guy, the black guy. That guy's an idiot.
Well, they're every time one of them opens their mouths, meaning these Democratic anybody, I think the Democratic Party is almost at single digits. I think they're at 21%.
Oh yeah, I mean this just goes.
I don't understand. They're doubling and tripling down, but you are starting to see some more moderates. So, for instance, that person that was shot, I am told that she voted in her state to end welfare for illegals. For
illegal immigrants, yes. And then she got shot, but yeah.
But she's a Democrat. So you're seeing that, and it's a horrible thing, but moderates are now trying to distance themselves because the party is really on the brink of just imploding if they don't do something.
Well, have you been watching Tim Walz's hearing and questioning? Have you been watching any of that? They are putting that guy in the dirt. The fact that guy was even up for vice president is, I think people are starting to see the craziness of that guy. But I mean, we're already talking about it, so let's just get right into the is it senator, governor, whichever, one or the other? Oh wait, hold on, I want to. The lady that was shot. Hold on, 1 second. I just want to.
She's a state senator, I believe.
I'm not thinking right now. What am I doing?
In Minnesota.
We want this one. There we go. Jeez.
I'm watching stream?
Yep.
No.
You can.
Okay.
So this is it. So Representative Melissa Hortman, she's a Democrat in Minnesota. Melissa just voted to repeal health care for illegal aliens. You can tell in this video that she knew there were consequences. She was right. Her and her husband were murdered. Like this was this morning, I think, right?
Yes.
Now, what's interesting, and of course it's down right now, but the guy that murdered her, I actually have it. Hold on. Is allegedly.
Yeah.
Just announced the suspect who assassinated / murdered Minnesota rep was this 57-year-old Vincent, whatever. No King's flyer was found in his car. He was a Tim Walz appointee to one of the governor's boards.
Yeah.
Like how, like this is, like that's so crazy. Like that's Tim Walz. First off, that's a Democrat shooting another Democrat, remember, the party of no violence, appointed by Tim Walz in his own state. It's like, you can't make this up.
And is it coincidental that she voted to end,
Right.
healthcare for illegals? And she was, I'm going to say she was in the right because that's what the majority of American citizens want.
Yeah.
And the Democrats, or an individual like this, who knows what his story is, but the derangement syndrome, they just can't handle the fact that their message is losing. And it's just not, that's why I said you're seeing more moderate Democrats. And I don't even know if she's moderate. Who knows? But she picked an issue that she realizes her constituents, I believe, they don't want to keep shelling it out. Democrat or Republican, we don't want to get up every morning, have to drive to work all day just to have our paycheck garnished. And in some cases, with people we know who can't even get health care, they're paying with their taxes for somebody who's not even a citizen, right?
Yeah.
And we just went through the big, beautiful bill, and you have Democrats who are squawking at cutting Medicare to people who have to work. If you get it and you're able-bodied, you got to go to work. They're screaming about that, right? Let alone illegals and everything else. This just doesn't resonate with American citizens. I'm not even saying Republican, blue state, red state, just American citizens. They've had enough of it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And now you're seeing them rising up in a city like Los Angeles and burning things, which I told you, we witnessed this a few months ago, watching that poor state almost burn down, or areas of it. And now you got people who aren't even citizens here. And I got foreigners telling us, we want our land back.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, that's where.
It's unbelievable.
I don't get it.
This is where we're at.
I saw.
And elected officials like a Tim Walz who support this.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, the Democratic Party is in absolute shambles, to say the least. And I think it's only a matter of time. Again, the problem is with my algorithm, I'm the one seeing a lot of these Tim Walz getting absolutely shut down by his hearing. The mayors all talking about their immigration numbers and how much money they put in, and they don't even know the numbers sometimes. So you're really watching the Democrats fall apart right now in trying to blame Trump, but the correlation's just not there. You can you can blame him for putting military into LA, but like something had to be done. It had to be done. So this whole concept, and I think today
they were federal agents.
Yeah.
And the governor of that state was not protecting federal agents. So yes, the people did not have a problem with it when Joe Biden sent the federal agents down for, what was it, Texas, and it wasn't even for federal.
Right.
It was a regular riots down in the streets down there. So when you have federal agents here, and a governor is not protecting those, that's my tax dollars here in New Jersey paying for those people. They were trained, they were everything else. I don't want them slaughtered by, guess what? People aren't even from our nation, let alone a citizen doing it. Yeah, go in there and get these individuals out. Go help them, the ones who are trapped in there.
Yeah.
But also, if people start attacking federal agents, there's something wrong here, And as Elise Stefanik, when she was grilling Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, she went after one. She brought up one person after another for these sanctuary city policies that governor signed 3 times, tried to backpedal, like, I support ICE. No, you don't. There was a woman burned alive on your train in New York City. But she also mentioned them beating up cops on the street. Yeah. There was a time not too long ago in your lifetime, Chris, where you got like double and triple penalties if you touched a cop in uniform.
Yeah, now those are just kind of gone.
Them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they're beating him to a pulp on the street. The one guy was in the hospital. I didn't even know those were illegals, the case that I'm thinking of. But if you're not a citizen, it's bad enough. If a foreigner, and I put this out to individuals who are so supportive, but they're illegals. Tell me you'd feel the same way if it was a big-ass Russian KGB guy who beat somebody up on the streets of New York. That's a foreigner too. Why is it okay if it's a Mexican or an El Salvador, but it's not okay if it's another foreigner? It's almost like it's bad if it's Russia, but it's not bad if it's, somebody from South America.
Yeah.
I don't want any. I don't
Well,
care if you're Canadian, you'll beat somebody up.
I still think my biggest qualm with it and why I have very little to no sympathy. I have sympathy for the kids if that's true, because that's not their fight, like the 6-year-olds or 4-year-olds. But it bothers me when people raise their flags saying "Viva la Mexico" in America, wanting our rights, right? Wanting our benefits. They like, if that logic makes sense to anyone, I can't, like. This is why I am a proponent of not everyone should vote. I'm just saying. Remember, these people are voting, unfortunately. But the other thing that someone brought a good point. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the other good point someone brought up, because we're taking so many rights away from these people, is if you were illegal in any other country, you wouldn't be sent back. You would be in prison for 50 years, right? There's no being sent back. So It just goes to show that the intolerant America is pretty damn tolerant compared to the rest of the world. So that's why I sympathize with a very small fraction of them. I cannot say that for the people that are running around destroying things, holding the Mexican flag, claiming to be Mexican, and then trying to get rights in America. That doesn't make sense to me.
This is not. It's delusional when people say, and the more you watch the news, and the more Americans are starting to clue into this fact, especially with the media, is, this was not a hidden agenda. This person ran on it. He got an enormous amount of the vote in this country, popular vote, as well as the electoral college vote, based on that one mandate. And by the way, he did that back in 2016. That's what got him elected.
Right.
And his problem was he didn't follow through. Yeah, he was blocked, blah, blah, blah. A lot of things went on. But the second time around, because the next administration made it so glaringly bad, where people get murdered on the streets in record numbers now, just random acts of violence all over the country. He ran on it, and it resonated with the American people. So this has been planned since the last candidate resonated with the American citizens. That's what scares the Democrats the most. Trump is just the name that they use. He's doing what the citizens want, and they can't get traction to turn the tide. They got to have a riot. Now we have to have no kings. This no kings thing, literally, that sprouted up, 2-3 days ago?
Not even like a day ago.
Yeah.
I think it's and all the people that are at I don't know if you saw, but like all the people that are part of this are like 70 to 90-year-old old white women in affluent areas, which is hilarious.
And this individual that shot this congressperson had flyers in the car,
Right.
no king's flyers and things on his site. Before this unfortunate incident, I heard Trump make a comment this morning. King? I don't feel like a king. Everything I do, they try and block me. That's not a king.
Yeah.
A king just, what they don't like is that Trump is doing something that the American people want. They equate that, well, he's dictating. No, we want him. That's why we elected him to do this.
You would love this, Mother, the real stupidity. Right now, I should have sent it to you. You're going to laugh. Right now, in England, they're having a no kings protest about America.
Oh, God.
England has a king. They literally have a patriarchy/monarchy. And they're saying no kings. like you can't make that up. Like that just goes to show, I don't know if that's stupidity or just manipulation from media. Like I don't understand how that works. You literally have a monarchy and a king and you're saying no kings, but you're shooting it at America.
Their own problems over there that I'll hazard is worse than ours.
Yes.
And J.D. Vance hit the nail on the head. You guys have lost freedom. They've lost freedom of speech over there in the UK. You can't with a straight face say that, free speech. They jailed some woman because she made some negative comments about people, whatever. I forget the whole story, but they don't have that. And they have a very, for lack of a better word, Anglo-Saxon looking family as their monarchy. And I think in general, they better start looking around because that's not their nation anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And similarly over here, we're in a much different realm. I love the fact that we have protests. That's a wonderful thing. When you cross over to burning and destroying
and killing,
and you're not even a citizen who feels you have those rights, you really don't. because neither you nor your ancestors fought for this country to have that right. In many cases, you guys fought against us for that right, or your ancestors fought against us. So you don't have that right. Yeah, there's a certain amount of right you do get when you visit a country, but to your point, years ago, I think before you were even born, there was a young man who went to Singapore and he chewed gum and threw it on the street. And that's illegal back then in that country.
Yep.
There was a whole brouhaha in the United States because the punishment is paddling for that. Like you get smacked around. And I forget who the president was at the time, but there was like this whole big controversy. Puts everything in perspective, right, with now. And basically, you know, most of the people said, listen, he knew the rules.
Yeah.
He went over there. Those are their rules. If you go to another country, you better that's why people don't like Americans, because they're arrogant. They feel like, well, we could do whatever we want. No, you can't. In our country, you can. But that's how you learn to appreciate the country you live in. To your point, you can deport. Anybody can leave anytime they want to. Rosie O'Donnell, Joe Blow on the street. That's the beauty of this country.
All the people that
Nobody
claim to leave but don't want to, I'm going to leave
they
if Trump
never
gets
do.
into office. And then none of them ever leave. Whatever.
Right.
Real virtue signaling there.
But I think this exposes, you know, for those people who are very supportive of illegal immigrants, let's be clear. These are illegal immigrants. Very supportive. Oh, let them stay. Give them everything they want to. Sure. Are you paying for it? Most of the time, these individuals, as we're learning, they're career college students who've never held a job. They just keep going to college with grants and money and, you know, loans from other people. They don't understand what it's like to work for 30 years, get up every day, do a job, worry about losing the job, pay your bills, and then find out the taxes you pay are going to individuals who they just protest all day for a job. Or they're, you know, they're getting free medical, everything else. And meanwhile, our prices are going up. It's you're going to destroy yourself. We're destroying ourselves from within. And there has to be a cutoff. Like I said, if I'm going to support illegals, now what are you going to do next? Start sending my money overseas to other countries? Do I have to now pay their medical care too? It's absurd, and it's a form of servitude. It sounds dramatic, but you're basically putting American citizens in servitude, the ones that are working to support other people who don't even belong to this country.
Yeah. It's very strange. But all right, I feel like we've hit pretty much everything on that one. Let's go to
one of my articles ties into that. It's
which
a short one.
Could be. It's going to be. Oh, there was one that you sent me that I couldn't get, which was the Daily Wire one.
That might have been the Zuckerberg.
Oh no, that one I have. Don't worry, that was just
the Chan Zuckerberg Institute. For, you know, remember Mr. Zuckerberg? I was trying to get in so close with the president, and he's changed his ways. Baloney. His Chan Zuckerberg Institute gave $900,000 to a group called the Immigrant Legal Resource Center. They've been doing this since 2018. Turns out the ILRC is what the acronym is. They're the ones giving the flyers to, or one of the groups giving flyers to the rioters to avoid deportation, how to refuse, how to cooperate with ICE. So once again, thank you, Mr. Zuckerberg, for going against the American people with your donation. Let's assume he's naive to what's going on, but hopefully now that it's been exposed, maybe he'll think twice before he gives money to these anti-American organizations.
Right. So basically, even though it's immigrant legal resource, they did it illegally.
Well, no, that's the name they give it, and it's to help people avoid deportation. Well, you're not doing that for legal people.
Yeah, right. Yes.
How do you refuse to cooperate with ICE? Okay, illegal people may not want to turn in a relative. I get that. But it's basically, you know, if you're legal and you're trying to keep an illegal relative here, we have means of people becoming citizens. They don't want to do it. They want the freebies.
Yeah.
This is the ass-backward mentality. So anyhow, I just wanted to make that point about the Zuckerberg and Institute and these multi-billionaires that throw money around and think it has no effect. Well, guess what? It hurts people.
This is another one I couldn't find the article on, but it ties in with this very well. Did you watch Josh Hawley absolutely decimate the 23andMe CEO? Did you watch that at all?
No.
Oh my God. It's worth the watch, Mom. I strongly recommend.
Okay.
If I can find it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, he's a very good debater.
Yeah. I mean, say what you want about Josh Hawley. I know a lot of people on the left.
Hawley.
I know a lot of people on the left don't like him. They think he's very arrogant. But when you see how great he is at just destroying these billion-dollar CEOs for these billion-dollar companies, it's a whole thing about, turns out, 23andMe, if you delete your account, we'll get rid of your data, we'll not send out anything. Literally, the first thing the guy says is, we don't keep data. And Josh goes, well, in your policy here. And it's just amazing how Josh just absolutely decimates these CEOs. But it goes to show you can't trust these companies.
Well, and also, same thing when I was watching the governors, and I saw the funniest line. The headline for the video was J.D. Pritzker sweats gravy.
Oh.
But anyhow, when they had the three governors up there, I mean, they flat out make these comments. And this is what's getting absurd. Yeah, violent comments, I get all that, but they say these things. And then when somebody turns around, which is not that hard to do nowadays, to pull up their comments. And I've seen this with judges being grilled by senators and congressmen, and where they say, you absolutely did say it, and here's the tweet. You called all these people racist. You called the Supreme Court.
No, go ahead, Mama. I didn't mean to start it.
Yeah, they called people racist. They go, you absolutely did do it. I saw Senator Kennedy from Louisiana. He just drilled into a judge who's a teacher and who called the Supreme Court justices racists. And he goes, well, do you think that's right to do that? I would never do that. He said, you did, right here.
It's amazing how, here's my problem with the lying under oath, because the lying under oath is just so common now that they will look you in the eyes, not answer the questions, and you'll have it written right here. Let's watch this together, Mom. It's 5 minutes, and we'll cut it out for the viewers, but it's definitely worth watching. Can you see it?
Yeah.
I thought your privacy code, your privacy commitment said that consumers had a right not to have their information shared with anybody else without their consent. I mean, I've got your privacy statement right here. It says that without their consent, you can't share their information. You're about to sell it.
Senator, that consent is, essentially for,
not real.
Not shared for research purposes, and we are not selling it for research purposes.
So when you tell the consumer, give us your personal information and we'll take money from you, and we won't give it to anybody without your consent, it's not real. It just means, maybe kind of depends on the day.
Senator, I will say that our customers' data is their own. They have the right at all times to access that information. They can edit it.
Well, sure they can, but you're about to sell it to who knows who. They can't control it. You said to Senator Moody that consumers have complete control of their data. Complete. How can they have complete control if you're about to sell it without their consent?
Senator, they can delete that data anytime up until the sale and after.
Oh, okay. They can delete the data. And when you delete it, it's deleted. It's gone forever.
All the genetic data is deleted forever, and yes.
Really? Because that's not what your privacy statement says.
Look at this. This is so crazy.
What your statement
pulls
says
up the
is,
receipts.
we retain personal information for as long as necessary to provide the services and fill the transactions you have requested, to comply with our legal obligations, resolve disputes, enforce agreements, et cetera, et cetera. And then it goes on, 23andMe and or our contracted genotyping laboratory will retain your genetic information even if you choose to delete your account.
Complete opposite of what he said.
Senator, 23andMe, it does not retain any genetic information regarding the consumer once they delete their account. We do.
It says right here that you will retain genetic information, including date of birth and sex, even if you choose to delete your account.
Okay.
This is your privacy policy. I'm just quoting from it.
Senator, to the best of my knowledge, we do not maintain any genetic information.
It says even if you choose to delete your account, we will retain.
So we can stop it there. So the context, because we're going to cut that out. The context is 23andMe is about to sell a huge part of their data to another company. And they literally say, hey, we don't do that. And then Josh just pulls out the piece of paper that says, no, wait, it says right here in your policy, you do that. So it's just funny watching these senators, mayors, CEOs get torn the hell apart. And I love it. It's my favorite thing.
But now, that person is not under oath per se.
Okay.
I think it was probably just a Senate meeting where they were getting information and whatnot. Similar to the ones with the governors I saw over their sanctuary city policies, where technically they're not under oath, but they're sitting there. I didn't hear much from Pritzker, but they're sitting there, and Nancy Mace, Representative Mace, waltzed through this whole Socratic method of
Yeah.
what is a Nazi and whatnot, and you called them Nazis. Oh, I didn't do so. They
I don't know
flat
how
out do it.
Mom, here's my question. When you see something like this, or you see how Walls gets absolutely destroyed, what happens to them? Like in court, right? They just go about their days after this? Or like, does this get pushed to a Supreme Court level? Like what happens?
No, they're doing a confirmation hearing to get information, right? So they can make decisions based on. Now, they brought the governors in because of how devastating the sanctuary city policies were. I don't know the specifics of what the confirmation hearing was about or what they were talking about in that meeting, but for instance, most of them up for election. So Pritzker, he wants to run for president, right? Of course you're going to bring him in. Of course you're going to rip into him in the sanctuary policies because you want to highlight for the American people the hypocrisy of they say one thing and it's not true. So Kathy Hochul, Elise Stefanik might run for governor of New York. And she was one of the ones who grilled the old days, but grilled Kathy Hochul about her policies. And she's trying to say how they work for ICE. How do you work for ICE when you sign 3 sanctuary bills basically saying we're going to help all the immigrants, and then, so essentially trying to highlight it. Why do you do this? A lot of it is political, right? You're trying to highlight for the people of the state, of the country, and at least Stefanik was trying to label her, a pro-illegal, anti-American governor by your actions, not your words. Same thing with Tim Walz. You can't go around calling people Nazis and then turn around and say, I never said that.
Right. Oh, yeah. They called him a couple times saying things. Like he was like, I wasn't at this rally that, I forget what the rally was for, but then they show a video of him at the rally. It's like, you can't make this up. But
sadly, as of right now, just keep this in mind. In politics, you're always talking about, well, who's the next contender? They're always looking 4 years ahead, right? Or 8 years ahead. You got Tim Walz, Gavin Newsom, this Pritzker guy, maybe Hochul, I don't know. These are your Democratic candidates.
It's not good.
You got to grill these people, and you got to hold them accountable, because we keep getting, and some Republicans too, we keep getting people that, and this goes back to what we said a podcast a little while ago. For too long, everybody's been getting a pass. Oh, they lied to Congress, and we can prove it. There are laws against that. You have to hold some of these people accountable. You can't just, and sometimes it's worse if you keep pointing out to the American people. Oh yeah, what's her name? Can't think of her name. Cheney. Oh yeah, she broke laws when she had this committee. If it's true, there are rules against that. If they perjure themselves, if you perjure yourself in front of Congress, there are rules. Nobody follows through. So that maybe next time somebody thinks twice before they do that. Right? That doesn't happen. So naturally, politicians, they'll just lie about anything. The sad part is they get in front of a confirmation hearing or in front of a committee. They keep lying. But now when you bring the receipts, it's like, oh, well, and to your point, what happens? Nothing. They walk out of there, they spin it, and they'll still have the same people vote for them back into office. So if you like living in a sanctuary state like New York, and if you want your tax dollars to go to support that, they'll vote for Kathy Hochul again. Or I don't know if she's still up. I don't know if there's term limits. But that's my point. We live in a world now, to your point, we used to have some decency. Like there's a line.
Yeah.
I don't know what that line is
I think it's just gone. I don't think so. I think it's just a humiliation, and then people forget about it the next day.
Yeah.
Just like how they forgot about the little transition here. The Air India guy. Did you see that one guy that survived?
Oh,
the 240. Yes. So a plane goes down, 241 people die. He jumps out at like the last second and just gets out, walks, is fine. That lasted about an hour.
The side of the plane where he was, or the door, because he was right near the exit, 11A, that's the seat.
Right.
It fell off, and he was able to just get out. I don't even know if he had the presence of mind. He just did it naturally because he didn't know what else to do.
Yeah, I thought the way I heard it was like as it was going down, it kind of pulled him sideways out of the door, like out of the door when it came off, and I think that saved him. But This guy just walked out, like just completely
Weird,
fine.
right?
The survivor guilt is probably a lot.
His brother was next to him. I
I
think his brother
know.
was on the plane with
Yeah,
him.
which is
So,
terrible. So, I
but
mean,
when
he
I
didn't
first
even want to
heard
be.
that, I go, "Oh, the one guy got out. Well, I think we better question him, right? If we need to know what happened, thinking it was a terrorist act." And then when I heard no, his brother was next to him, I'm like, "Well, okay, that definitely does not bode well
Yeah.
for
Like he didn't want
something else."
questions. He didn't want anything. So, but it got overshadowed by the bombing in of not Yemen, bombing of what the hell's the name of that place? Oh,
Iran.
yeah. But
Iran.
what's the name of the city?
Tel
Tel
Aviv is
Aviv. Thank
Israel.
you. I don't know. I'm so bad at the freaking names of these places.
Well,
So
so
ahead.
Israel launched attacks on the nuclear sites in Iran.
Mhm.
And whether you agree with it or not, the intelligence and the operations that they had going on, the IDF and Mossad, is pretty incredible. You know, they had drones inside there. They were able to go. Iran, by all international accounts, not just Israel, they were days away from nuclear capabilities.
Yeah.
And they've made it very clear as soon as they get it, they will wipe Israel off the face of the earth. So, you know, most people in the world are like, oh, it's not going to happen. And, you know, Israel's the problem. But meanwhile, it's a total threat to them. They don't hide it either. And they'll come for us next, like Iran, if they had that capability. So we had huge setbacks with the last administration allowing Iran to keep going with their program. Because they hide a lot of things they do, even when
Oh
they have
yeah.
agreements. And now the current president of the United States was trying to negotiate with them. But there'll be some questions as to how much we knew and didn't know. Because naturally, it was a great in the sense of taking out their capabilities. And some person who's an expert in that area said, I don't care what the other countries in that area may say, they are all relieved. Because you can't have somebody like that, even if you're
having nuclear warheads and nuclear capabilities.
Nuclear ability like that. It needs to be tamped down. That's
It's
not a country that's capable
so
of doing it.
scary how many Americans defend Iran, because it just goes to show how little they know, right? About what Iran has done and what they're capable of. So yeah, I mean,
the downside is they retaliated and they just have been bombarding Tel Aviv, which is Israel. And that aspect was a little bit. I'm hearing they didn't think that part through. So it's still, from what I'm understanding, it was still worth it for Israel. They had no choice because they were going to be destroyed.
Makes sense.
And that in their mindset, that's what they're thinking. The issue naturally is, well, if America is now providing them with, you know, weapons and assistance and whatnot, are we getting drawn into yet another
third
Middle
war?
Eastern war?
Yeah, Third World War.
Right.
So and my question is, Mom, I guess I should really Google this and really understand it, or ask our friend. How does the Iron Dome work? Like, isn't the Iron Dome supposed to stop those missiles, or was it too overwhelming for the Iron Dome? Is that the consensus?
I think it was an overwhelming. I have not done the research on that yet. I've had a lot going on last day too. It's only been 2 days, but normally the Iron Dome is sort of like a response mechanism similar to, for all of you who saw Top Gun Maverick, remember?
Yeah.
They had to get in and get out before they were detected, because once the guns detect them, it hunts them and just starts shooting, right? The Iron Dome is a form of, some of your listeners may know it even better than I do, but it's just a way of, as soon as those missiles comes, there's an automatic response to take them
Okay,
out
that's what I
before
thought.
they
So it
land.
must have just been overwhelmed by how
think
many
that's
rockets
probably
came.
it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yes, and the targeting and where it was got, you know, and the amount of it, and they couldn't respond fast enough, or they weren't prepared for the response. I think they were more focused. The issue too that someone else was saying about that area, it's fine to say we took out the nuclear capabilities of Iran. Did you really though? Because some of their facilities are 200, like ridiculous meters or more
Below.
underground. And that's the reason why, you know, all these people would come in and they'd check it out, because you always have to have people, whenever they had nuclear capabilities, you'd have an international community or a group of scientists. They would have to come in and make sure everything's safe, secure, you know, and monitor what phase they're at. And oftentimes, you know, these experts would say, they're not showing you the real facility.
Yeah.
The real ones are way underground. So that's always been an issue. I was like, yeah, sure, come in. You can see whatever. See, we're not doing anything. And lo and behold, they were days away from nuclear material. So the question is, did they really destroy it, or they just done damage? From what we're hearing, the interesting part, and I hate to say this, but it was kind of funny. They took out like all the Iranian air generals or the leaders of the
Right.
their former Air Force. Somehow a meeting was called, and they thought they all had to be together. Took them out in one spot. Right?
Wow.
Classic. Draw them all in, and took them out. So some of the headlines were like, if you got a call today from the Ayatollah to show up to work, don't go. Call in sick.
That's like
because now
that.
they had to bring in the next level.
What's that movie with Tom Cruise where he has to take out Hitler, and he brings Valkyrie, right? It's like
Valkyrie,
that where
yeah.
he gets all of them together, and I guess the table saves
Right.
Hitler's life.
But it failed, right?
Yeah.
That thing failed. But
And then-
in this case, that was the thought. They were all called in for something. That, and again, this was a headline that I read. I couldn't go too deep into it. I haven't had a chance. I haven't seen the whole unfolding of it, but they've been planning this since November, I believe. Netanyahu and the IDF, that this was something they knew was going to happen because nothing was stopping Iran from continuing with their program.
Right.
And they knew at some point they were going to have to do it. It's an existential threat. They don't hide it. Iran will say from the podium, death to America, death to Israel. And, the supporters say, well, don't listen to them. No, they don't mean that. No, that's exactly what they mean. They could kill every one of us.
All
They
I
would.
know is that Iran is playing chess while Israel's playing checkers, or other way around. Wait, damn it. That was going to be
It's the high
such a
level.
good transition, too. I meant to say Israel's playing chess while Iran's playing checkers. Speaking of chess and checkers.
Do it again and edit it out.
Yeah,
Do it again
I
and
fucked
edit it
up.
out.
No, it's fine. So ChatGPT just got absolutely wrecked at chess, losing to a 97 Atari 2600. One of the few gaming consoles I've never played. So I was reading into this. It's your article, Mom, if you want to kind of explain it.
That's okay. It was a 1977 Atari 2600 beat the AI chatbot at chess, the ChatGPT. They used the video chess game software and a software emulator. So I guess they had to bring it into current day.
Yeah.
So,
Because they couldn't. Yeah, that didn't have the compatibility to do a multiplayer back then.
Right.
So
and maybe that has something to do with it too. Maybe that affected it. But the ChatGPT, they made so many blunders. They said like a fifth grader could have beaten it. It was, it could not recognize pieces. It would lose track of the pieces. The ChatGPT, it's more of a language-based model than a supercomputer.
Right.
So as they put it, it would have been better at discussing chess and all the details rather than playing it. So there was a difference between the different types of AI. But I was having a discussion today at lunch with some people. You know how I'm always anti-AI, and you're pro-AI with the coding and what it was meant to do. And it was a good point because they had Pete Hegseth up on the Hill, and they were grilling him about cutting, I think it was a ridiculous amount of money from the budget. And they were trying to make it sound like, well, you're putting people in danger. Some in substance, and I'm still scarred by this conversation. He talked about programs that they cut that he says absolutely ridiculous. And Senator Durbin's like, well, tell me what you think is a boondoggle. And when you discuss some of the horrific things that they do to cats as part of research, okay, baloney. So I'm thinking about it, I go, you know what? We're done with that. Let's use AI. If AI is so great, let the AI simulate what they need to do to test things and stop using the animals or using humans even. And the person I was with who's familiar with AI said exactly that. Yes, that makes sense. That's where we should be going with things like AI. Let's eliminate the pain and torture and I hate mice and whatnot, but if AI is so phenomenal and so, can replicate so many things, maybe we should start using it in those areas that could help.
Right.
Basically humanity, because I'm looking at some of these things. I'm like, what possible benefit do you get from this kind of research to brutalize an animal like that? And I'm starting to wonder some of these sicko scientists are actually enjoying doing it. Are they that? I don't know how somebody could actually do that, even as scientists, and call it science. So anyhow, that's my 2 cents on that. After I read this article on AI, and I said, it's got to be good for something. Coupled with that article, I'm like, all right, I think I found a role for AI.
Well, I did you see that video I sent you the other day? The Kennedy video of
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those AIs are getting a little ridiculous. There was one I
Yes.
saw on Instagram that was so unbelievably good that if it didn't tell me that it was AI, I would have never known. The only ones you can't tell are like the gorillas talking like actual. There's a channel that does Bigfoot as if Bigfoot was vlogging. He's like, I'm gonna go terrorize this tent, and Bigfoot doesn't exist and he doesn't have a camera, so that's how you know it's AI. But the human ones, Mama, I think in less than a year you're not gonna be able to tell. It's not gonna be possible.
It's going to wind up being like the blue check on Twitter, right?
Yeah,
You
but
need something to say who I am, because
Right.
then back to what we were saying about the politicians, I can just say that wasn't me, that wasn't AI.
Exactly.
I never said that.
And that's the scary thing, because then it's like, oh, are these riots real at all? What if
Right.
these are all videos? I think we're about a year away from serious problems
Yeah.
when it comes
I
to
agree.
the AI
I agree.
videos. Trump said this. Oh wait, he didn't actually say that. Then you have the people that believe and the people that don't believe. So I think we are severely underestimating how bad this. I know we're always doom and gloom with AI, but now we're starting to see. I don't care about singularity. I don't care about that other stuff right now. Just seeing how manipulative these videos are and how good they are is incredibly scary. Like that JFK one, RFK, I mean, that one was scary.
It comes down to, like, for instance, that Zuckerberg article. I only saw it in one place, and I happen to trust the individual who put it out. She does her research. She doesn't just throw things out there. It comes down to, like, for instance, with the riot, it's going to be like the olden days, word of mouth. I don't
Yeah.
believe anything unless somebody who is actually there, whom I trust, gives me the lowdown. And sadly, that's what journalism used to be. You trusted ABC News, you trusted NBC, you trusted these people. They would never, they documented, and part of life is you got to trust people. That's part of humanity. At some point, you've got to share information, you have to believe the source. And the irony is AI or that type, they're going to wind up, as we're seeing now, they're destroying themselves, because I can't rely on anything on the internet anymore unless I know the source and unless they verify for me that this was not documented and I got this information firsthand.
I want to see if I can find real fast the news one that I saw. That was.
Will you do that? Let me just get Grandma
Sure.
her coffee.
I want to see if I can find it. It was so unbelievably realistic. Can you see my screen, Mom?
Yes, I can.
Look at how realistic this is. Ready?
Angela Carter here, live from the Cedar Grove flood disaster. Just kidding, I'm not real. This is Dana Brooks reporting live from Ocean View Beach.
Like,
just kidding, I'm not real. This is Charlotte Reed reporting live from Clearwater Beach, where an unidentified. Just kidding, I'm not real.
Okay, it's getting scary. It's probably very small on your screen. It's small for me too, but
It is, but yeah, I saw
yeah,
it.
like if they didn't tell me, I'd be like, holy crap, that's too good.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know what else
And
might
that's
not be
it.
real? Oh, damn it, that was a good transition too.
The dinosaur mask.
What were you gonna say, Mom?
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
The dinosaur mask.
No. What were you
No,
gonna
I
say?
was going to say before that, nobody has time to do the backstory research. You wind up picking those few people you trust. And that's, the media is really, or even online media, I'm not just saying traditional media.
Right.
It will get to the point where the trustworthy person is the one who's going to have the following. Because after a while, people, they don't have time to go searching for what's true and not. They want it, and they're going to go right to the source, right? Like for you, if somebody says to you, is this thing real? You know where to check. Like say it's something online or video or whatever. You know which people.
You hope you do, but then there's always the chance that those companies that you do trust say, "Oh, we can start pushing a narrative." Right. So I think we are severely underestimating. Yeah, I think we're still severely underestimating where this can go in a year.
I agree.
So
I agree.
What is this about? Dinosaur Mass-Grave?
Alberta, Canada.
Ended on a light note.
Thousands of dinosaurs are buried there. They were all killed in an instant. It's called Pipestone Creek, but they call it the River of Death.
Yeah.
Why? Because all these pachyrhinosauruses from the late Cretaceous period, they're kind of like Triceratops.
Yep.
Or related Triceratops. They were all in this one area. Some massive event happened, and they all died here. And they literally can take chunks and chunks and find bones from all these
Wow.
Pachyrhinosaurus, right? What they think happened was they were all migrating together, and it's in a very wooded area. You have to go through swamps and whatnot, and a lot of water to get to this area. And they go every year, these archaeologists, and they dig all summer long. They go all the way through to the fall, and they just keep collecting more and more of these bones and trying to piece this together. They think, based on the levels of the swirls in the rocks, that there must have been some giant flood event that took them all out at once. Not sure what caused the flooding, but and if you look at them, they're not built to swim.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Get
that
drowned,
kind of
losers.
animal. So far they've collected over 8,000 bones
Wow.
of these different animals. It might have been a flash flood, like I said, and that's a sample of the rocks in the area.
Wow.
So fascinating. Didn't even know this was going on. Do I think it's true? Well, like I said, it's BBC. Who knows? You know. But apparently this is an ongoing thing.
That's got.
They did a whole documentary on it.
They got a whole picture of the dinosaurs. I feel like that's AI. I'm not sure, but I think that's a lie.
That's AI.
I haven't seen one of these alive, and you found a whole herd. But yeah. All right. I mean, Mom, we just did a little longer than I thought. That was an hour and 12. I don't know if I have anything else. Do you have anything else?
Did I cover all mine?
I think we did. I think we did.
Chess.
We got a lot done in
Zuck.
an hour. The Zuck.
Oh, one more. University of Michigan. 3 strikes, you are out.
Okay,
They got
that's the one I
another
don't
person.
have then.
They got
Oh,
another
really?
person. Yes. Okay. So now they're reviewing the policies at the university after the 2 foreign ones we talked about with the PhDs and the doctoral. Now they have another one, a PhD student from Wuhan. Okay.
Oh.
He tried to, I think it was a he, no, maybe it was a she, tried to smuggle it in through the airport. They admitted to even mailing some more pathogens over. So now, I think it's time University of Michigan starts looking at their policies a little bit here. And I think we need to start cracking down on some of this, because what the hell's going on that these doctorate students and PhDs, they're just, what are they working on? Is anybody watching what they're doing? What are they bringing in here?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I know they're cracking down on all of the visas, the Chinese visas especially. I don't know if you saw that, but they're like
Trump
trying to
just
get rid of them.
Trump just backpedaled and on the students from China coming
Gotcha.
back with their visas, which is not a good thing. But
Oof, yeah, that could be ugly, but yeah. So I think we
Busy week.
covered a lot. We covered a lot,
covered
Mother.
a lot.
So
in a short amount of time.
I don't. Next week, I think you might be off for the next couple weeks, because I'm gonna do one with Tom hopefully next week, and then I'm gonna try and do one with Paris and Ariel, Dearest Eris, for those of you that know that channel, on the week after that. But I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
So yeah. What else, Mother? Tomorrow's Father's Day, so by the time this comes out, Father's Day would have passed. So hopefully you guys got to spend some time with loved ones.
Yep.
And then, that's pretty much it. So social media, promo codes, stream links, Discord down below. And hopefully I'll see you guys next week. Maybe you'll see Mom the week after that. Who knows? But
Happy Flag Day.
And happy Flag Day.
It was on Saturday that we're doing this. And
yeah. So you guys have a good week, and we'll see you in the next one.